Hello students, we are going to start new chapter, motion in plane. We know that there are two types of quantities. One quantity is known as scalar quantity and other quantity is vector quantity. Now we will discuss the difference between these two quantities. Scalar quantities are those quantities in which we can know about the magnitudes. Only, and vector quantities are those quantities which have magnitude as well as direction. Means the quantities which are defined by magnitude as well as direction is known as vector quantity, and the quantity which is known by the direction, which is known by the magnitude only, then this is known as scalar quantity. Second, scalar quantity change with change in magnitude, and we will write only magnitude only because it does not depend on the direction. Second, for vector quantity, vector quantities change either with the change in magnitude or with change in direction. Third, scalar quantities with same units can be added or subtracted according to algebra. What does it mean? Suppose if we want to add distance, because distance is a scalar quantity. Suppose there is a distance of 7 km and another distance is 3 km, then these two can be added because they have same unit. This is kilometer and this is also kilometer, so we can add 7 plus 3 is equal to 10 km. But vector quantities do not follow algebra. Next, scalar quantities are represented by ordinary letters. And vector quantities, we can write these are represented by letters with an arrow over them. So these are the main differences between the scalar quantity and vector quantity. We can take example for scalar as well as vector quantities. What type of examples we can take? Examples of scalar quantities. Distance is a scalar quantity. It does not require any direction. Mass, time, speed. Why speed is a scalar quantity? Because speed is equal to distance upon time. Distance and time are scalar, so that's why speed is also scalar. Volume, density, pressure, work, energy, power, charge, current, potential, temperature, specific heat, frequency, etc. We can take a scalar quantity. They does not require any direction to explain. Now if we take the example of vector quantities, position, displacement, velocity, acceleration, force, weight, momentum, impulse, electric field, current density, etc. are vector quantities because they need magnitude as well as direction. For the representation of the vector quantity, we can represent this. Suppose this is A and B, and if we want to represent, suppose there is a vector P, we have to represent vector P, then this arrow represents vector P. The arrow has got head and tail, so we can represent this vector P as vector P is equal to AB with arrow. AB represents the distance between this A and B, means magnitude, and this arrow represents the direction. This AB represents magnitude and arrow represents direction. So together, if we want to represent vector P, then we can represent it in this form. And this is not this arrow with which we are representing the vector quantity. It is not according to scale. It is just an indication of representation that the particular quantity is a vector quantity. Now we will discuss about the types of vectors. How many types of vectors are there? Or we can say that the vector quantities are of two types. First one is polar vector, and second is axial vector. If we call this in the form of quantity, so we can call it as polar vector quantities, polar vector quantity, and this is axial vector quantity. So what is the major difference between these two? We will discuss here. First one is polar vector. What are polar vectors? We can define polar vector as a vector or a vector quantity whose direction is along the direction of motion of a body is known as polar vectors. A vector quantity whose direction is along the direction of motion of the body is known as polar vector. What does it mean? So we can take an example. Suppose there is a car which is moving towards east direction, and suppose this car travels 1 kilometer towards east, then the displacement of car will be called as 1 kilometer in which direction? In east direction. And displacement is a vector quantity. So we can say about this straight motion of the car, for this particular thing we can say that the displacement is equal to distance, or distance is equal to displacement, and the direction of motion of the car is same. So we can say that the direction of displacement is equal to direction of motion. When this condition is satisfied, that the direction of displacement is same as the direction of motion, then this type of vector is known as polar vector. Now if we take the explanation of axial vector, it is different from polar vector. Axial means it is related to axis. So what is axial vector? Axial vector are the vectors which are along the axis of rotation. Means if there is the existence of axis, then there must be some rotation. So we can define it as a vector quantity whose direction is along the axis of rotation of the body is called axial vectors. So we can take example for this also. Suppose there is a disc, suppose this is a circular disc, and this disc is made to rotate about its axis. Suppose this is the axis of the disc. The axis is a line which passes through its center, and if we apply a force which is tangential to the circumference of this circular disc, then what will happen? Due to the application of this force, this disc will start rotating about the axis, and the rotation, because the force is in anti-clockwise direction, so the rotation will also be in the anti-clockwise direction. So this is the direction of rotation, and it is very clear that the disk rotated due to the action of force. So according to theory, the direction of angular velocity is on the axis, and angular velocity is represented by omega. This is angular velocity, and as well as we can say that the direction of torque will also be along the axis, and torque is represented by tau. This is torque. So when we combine these two figures, then we can draw a single figure as this is the direction of angular velocity as well as torque, tau. This is angular velocity, and this is torque which is acting. This is the axis of rotation, and circular disc. So in this way we can represent the torque and the angular velocity on the axis of this circular disc. So we can say that the angular velocity, which is represented by vector omega, and with this velocity there is production of angular acceleration. So angular acceleration, which is represented by vector alpha. Torque is represented by vector tau. Angular momentum is represented by वेक्टर एल. इसको वेक्टर जे से भी रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. किसी बुक में आपको वेक्टर एल मिलेगा, किसी बुक में वेक्टर जे मिलेगा, वेक्टर कैपिटल जे. These all are known as axial vectors. We will now discuss about the addition of two vectors. Addition of two vectors. There are two methods of addition. First one is method of triangle of vectors, and second is method of parallelogram of vectors. So first we will discuss about the method of triangle of vectors. Suppose we have got two vectors. One vector is vector A, other vector is represented by vector B, and you observe that vector A is horizontal vector and vector B is that vector which has some angle with the horizontal, or we can say that it has got angle with x-axis. So if we want to add these two vectors, then there are two methods. This is first and second method. Both the methods we will discuss here. Suppose for addition of these two vectors, if we draw vector A exactly according to the length of this vector, we will draw vector A, and now we have to draw vector B. And if we draw vector B such that the tail of vector B touches the head of vector A, so it will become in this form. For making this vector B, we have to take care of two things. First one is the magnitude or length of this vector, and second one the angle with the horizontal, and these two things should be same. Suppose this angle is theta then it is required that this angle theta should be exactly equal to the angle theta originally given. Now if we want to add these two vectors, then simply we can represent these the resultant of these two vectors, resultant of addition of these two vectors, as this arrow represents the resultant, and this resultant is vector r is equal to vector a plus vector b. Similarly, if we want to draw this, if we want the resultant of these two vectors, what is the difference between these two? In the first method, the vector b is drawn in such a way that the tail of vector b is touching the head of vector a, but in the second method you are observing that the head of vector b is touching the tail of vector a, and if we want the resultant of these two vectors, then simply we have to join the tail of vector b to the head of vector a, and this represents vector r is equal to, but this time we will show it as vector b plus vector a. Why vector b plus vector a? Because when we draw these vectors, then firstly we have to draw vector b, okay, and then we have to draw vector a. And in the first method, what we have drawn? We have drawn vector a first and then vector b. So these are the differences. And suppose this is represented by dash and this is represented by simply vector r. So we can say that if we measure these two resultants, then we can get conclusion as r is equal to r dash, means the resultant of both the vectors are same. So we can say that for this vector r is equal to vector a plus vector b, and here r dash is equal to vector b plus vector a. So according to this, we can write it as vector a plus vector b, because vector a plus vector b is written in place of r, and vector b plus vector a is written in place of vector r dash. So in this way, we can say that the addition of vectors is commutative. Commutative means one vector can take place of another vector during the addition, when we represent in the form of addition. Now the second method is the method of parallelogram of vector. Method of parallelogram of vector. In this method, what we are doing, we will draw vector a, and if vector b is at some angle from the horizontal, then we can draw vector b in this form. And suppose this angle is theta, means theta is the angle with which the vector b is drawn. Then in this method, because this is the method of parallelogram, so we will try to make the parallelogram, and for this, you know that opposite sides of the parallelogram are parallel to each other. So when we draw the parallelogram, then it will come like this, means this dotted line will be parallel to vector a, the direction of vector a, this parallel to this line, and similarly this line parallel to vector b, then the parallelogram has been made, and according to this method the diagonal of the parallelogram represent the resultant of these two vectors. So here, if vector r is the diagonal of the parallelogram, so vector r is equal to vector a plus vector b. And if we measure the angle or the direction, if we want to show the direction of the resultant, then we can show by angle alpha. Alpha is the angle which is made by the resultant with the horizontal or with the x-axis. So this is the method of parallelogram of vector. With this method we can find the resultant.